So in this video, we are talking about the area of trapezoids and parallelograms. So there's two different equations for each one. They're both quadrilaterals, but they're a little bit different. So parallelograms, they kind of look like rectangles that have had a little bit too much to drink, but the formula is pretty much the same. The area is just base times height. So remember, the base is the bottom of the shape and the height is going straight up and down. So with rectangles, pretty much all of the sides are going straight across, either straight up and down or straight across. Whereas with parallelograms, they're kind of leaning. So you don't want to look at the side that's leaning. That 12 is not going to be your height. This 10 is going to be your height. So when you do the area of a parallelogram, you are going to say 10 times 18. And that's just going to be 180. So this is an example. This isn't any of the problems that you have. So this is the formula for parallelograms. Trapezoids are a little bit different. Trapezoids actually have two bases. So remember, when you think of trapezoids, think that they're all about that base, no trouble. So because there's two bases, the formula is a little different. So you are going to have 1/2 base 1 plus base 2. So this top one is the first base, this bottom one is the second base. So you're going to add them together, and then you're going to multiply by the height, which, remember, it's not this slanty side over here. It is the one going straight up and down. That's the height. So for example, if this height were to be 9, if this base were 8, whoops, why did I write 80? 8, Mrs. Penn, come on. So 8 and 20. So in order to do this, we would say the area is half of base 1, which is 8, plus base 2, which is 20, times the height, which is 9. So we would add inside the parentheses. So 20 plus 8 is 28 times 9. So we have half of 28 times 9. So 28 times 9 is, let's see, 252. So remember, anytime you're multiplying something by half, it's pretty much the same as dividing it by 2. So 252 divided by 2 is 126. So that would be the area of that trapezoid up here. So keep these formulas in mind for the next few problems. So for number 1, so in this problem, we have two sets of parallel lines, which means that we have a parallelogram. So because parallelograms involve two sets of congruent or equal sides, because this top one is 12, this bottom one is also 12, which means our base is 12. And our height is this 11 over here, not the 13, because the 13 is slanty. We want the straight up and down one. So we are just going to do area equals base times height, which is 12 times 11. And 12 times 11 is 132. And this is our answer for number 1. So for number 3, we do not have two sets of parallel lines. If this were a parallelogram, then these two sides would be equal and these two sides would be equal. So we have a trapezoid, which means that the formula we want to use is half base 1 plus base 2 times height. So when you think of trapezoid, think of triangles, how it's half base times height, but since there's two bases in trapezoids, you're pretty much adding them together. So we are going to have half of 4 plus 8 times the height, which is this 3 on the inside. Okay, So we have half of 12 times 3, and 12 times 3 is 36, and 36 divided by 2 is 18. So this is our answer for number 3. Okay, so for number 5, we have two sets of parallel and congruent lines, which means that we have a parallelogram. That means the area is going to be base times height. So the base, since we have this 14 up here, that means the bottom is also the 14. So we have area equals 14 times the height, which is this 11. Not the 15, because the 15 is slanty. We want the one that is straight up and down. So 14 times 11. And that is going to equal 154. And that is our answer for number 5. Okay, for number 7, we do not have a parallelogram. As you can see, the two bases are not the same length, and these two sides are definitely not parallel or equal. So we have a trapezoid. So we have half base 1 plus base 2 times height. So our bottom is base 2, our top is base 1, and the 6 over here is our height. So let's plug all of these values in. We have half of 8 plus 18 times the height, which is 6. So 8 plus 18 is 26. And so now we want to multiply 26 times 6 and divide it by 2. So 126 times 6 is, not 126, 26 times 6, what am I saying, is 156. And 156 divided by 2 is 78. So this is our answer for number 7. Last one, number 9. Once again, we have a trapezoid because, as you can see, we have two different bases. So we are going to use the formula. Area equals half base 1 plus base 2 times height. So we are going to say half of 10 plus 6 times the height, which is the 7. And 10 plus 6 is 16. And 16 times 7 is 112. And remember that when you multiply something by half, it's the same as dividing it by 2. So we are going to say 112 divided by 2 equals, and that is 56. So this is your answer for number 9. And that is it for the area of parallelograms and trapezoids.